Welcome to the newest episode of A Little Drive. I'm Jose. Today's guest is Tania. Tania is a funny person. She says random things like I do, and she's a Mexican American like me. I hope you enjoy hearing her story on today's episode. I would like to apologize for the audio quality on this episode. That is completely my fault. Other than that, let's move forward and let's hear Tania's episode. Welcome to another episode of A Little Drive. My name's Jose, and today's guest is my work daughter. The reason why I say that is because our personalities are pretty similar, and we're also pretty doggone awesome. Tania, welcome to the show.
Hi, Jose. Thanks so much for having me. I was looking forward to this the whole week.
Thank you for coming on. How was your week?
It was great overall. You were there.
Yeah, I was there for a little bit of it. I'm having Tania on the show because I want to poke her brain. I want people to hear what Tania's all about and just have a good time. Tania, as is our standard first question for all of our guests, tell us about your childhood. What was it like?
You know what? My childhood was pretty good. I can't complain. I grew up in Hollywood when we're on our way, or like you like calling it, Hollywood. You know,
Hollywood.
It's not that bad. So I have two sisters and two brothers. I've lived in Hollywood all my life. My parents are separated, so I just live with my mom and my two sisters and one brother. So one thing that a lot of people actually don't know about my childhood is that I actually lived in Mexico for a short period of time.
Mexico.
Te tengo en el corazón. So when I was just a newborn, about, I'm going to say 3 months, my mom decided to relocate us to Mexico. So at the time, it was just me and my two older sisters, Maria and Elizabeth. So we moved to Mexico with my mom's mom and my grandparents, so my mom's grandparents.
Yeah.
And we lived there for about a year. So I came back here in 94, and it was, I don't remember anything about it.
And you were born in 92, 91?
93.
93, okay.
I'm not going to tell you my full birthday just in case someone tries
Right.
to, rob
All
my
right.
identity.
It's all right. It's
But
all
you
right.
know it, though. You better remember. It's coming up next month.
I'm only going to rob your identity on Saturdays, and we're recording this on a Friday, so you're fine.
Okay, good. Because I need my identity, my ID to go out.
Of course.
No, I don't really remember much about Mexico as a child. One thing my mom does tell me is that my great-grandparents loved us a lot. They didn't want us to move back here. But since my dad was here at the time, my mom just felt it was right, to have her daughters with her father, even though they were separated. She just thought it was best. But I was my great-grandpa's favorite. Of course, I'm everybody's favorite,
everybody loves you.
La bebé.
I see.
La bebé. So I just sometimes think to myself, my mom tells me, what would have happened if I would have never came back here? You guys probably would have been married in Mexico with a husband and 3 kids each, Because unfortunately, in Mexico, if you do grow up in poverty, it's very hard for you to come out of that situation. It's only when you go ahead and go to school and build yourself a career that you're most likely to end up in a better place than your parents are.
And even then, it's still a struggle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially what you see in the novelas. Like, man, why is this doctor poor?
Yeah.
Like, why is this lawyer poor? I mean, didn't they go to school? But anyways, I didn't go back to Mexico until 2 years ago. So, I mean, it was just a culture shock because I don't remember anything, like I said, when I was a baby. And just
You didn't even remember that there was a Mexico.
I know, right? I thought it was in the U.S. the whole time, but like a little shack or something. But I really do. I like Mexico, Mexico City.
Mexico City,
Yeah, exactly. That's where my parents are from. And
that's where my dad was from.
But you say, I'm telling you that my mom says that she's a chilanga, but you're saying that there's another word for it.
So here's what I always heard the word chilango, right? Chilango or chilanga, which for the listeners, that meant that you were from Mexico City. By the
Yes.
way, as an aside, I want to apologize for my audio quality. One of my microphones stopped working right before production, but we're continuing the interview because the show must go on. Hopefully, producer Mark can boost me up a little bit. So I'm being totally transparent. Hopefully, producer Mark can boost me up a little bit. I apologize for that. And if there is some annoying static in the background when producer Mark does, or if he can successfully boost me up. So going back to the Chilango thing, Chilango was like a slang term dedicated to people who were apparently from Mexico City, which is the capital of Mexico. A few years ago, about 10 years ago, I met a gal from Mexico City, and in Spanish, the Mexico City is considered Distrito Federal, which means the federal district, which is an area within Mexico City. And that's where basically the Mexican equivalent of the White House, which is called, I forgot the name. It's in El Zócalo. The area is called El Zócalo.
Yeah, I don't know either, man. We need a geography lesson.
Yeah, I can't believe I've been there. I've been to
El Palacio?
Yeah, well, it might be El Palacio, but El Palacio is also El Palacio de las Bellas Artes. Yeah. But anyway, getting back to Chilango, she told me, she was from Mexico City, she told me that she was a defeña.
Defeña.
Which, Distrito Federal, the initials of that are D in Spanish, and F in Spanish. And they were just claiming that was defeña, or defeña, like you were from Distrito Federal. And maybe that word only applies to people who are from that kind of more businessy area. But then she told me that Chilangos are considered people who are from another area of Mexico who then take up residence in Mexico City.
Oh, you know what, Jose? It's just very confusing because I did tell my mom about that, but she's like, no, we're Chilangas. And then when she meets other people that are from, Mexico City or Distrito, like, oh yeah, my paisana, or you're Chilanga too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I should believe my mom. She's older than you. She got that street cred more than you.
Maybe the person who I was talking to was wrong.
It's a liar.
Maybe she's a liar. You're a lying liar who lies. But maybe she had it wrong. Like I said, I've grown up hearing the word Chilango and Chilanga because a lot of my relatives lived in Mexico City too. So it's hard to. I don't know. It's hard to trust this newer person who I really only talked to for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you should trust my mom. She's from
and
there.
My mom and my dad.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll trust them.
We'll trust the real Mexicans.
The real Mexicans.
And not this young Mexican.
Mexifix.
She was a Mexican. Our parents were Mexicans. A Little Drive is not brought to you by Nintendo, makers of the stupendous Nintendo Switch. If you've been curious about whether you should buy this new video game gadget, even though you don't like video games, give it a shot. It's actually really cool. It is a near perfect console that you can actually take with you anywhere you go. Just make sure you have a carrying case. You don't want to drop that thing. With your childhood, were you a kid who, like me, was kind of very social, very talkative in school? Like, I stayed after school a lot because I was always talking to the people in class.
Oh my goodness, yes, and this is why we are related.
Yeah.
So I've always been a super talkative person, just social butterfly. I want to get to know everybody, just because naturally I think you and I, we want everybody to like us, just for good reasons. If they don't, that's on them. You can't please everybody. In middle school, I was voted most talkative. Well, nominated. Lost.
Wow.
I guess there was someone more
You
talkative
lost
than
to somebody?
right. How can I lose?
Wow.
I'm a winner, baby.
What's the former owner of the Raiders, Al Davis? Like, his motto was "Just win, baby."
Hashtag winning.
Yeah, exactly.
But one thing that when I was in 7th grade, and I'm about to give a shout out to my best friend in middle school, her name was Sydney.
Shout out to Sydney.
So we had in middle school service they call it service period. So you were pretty much a teacher's assistant to your teacher. It was for another shout out, Mr. Sutton.
Mr. Sutton, like Sutton?
Yes, because I suddenly remembered him.
Oh, wow. The only reason why I know how to spell his name is because there was a
customer.
No, because there's a famous Dodger player named Don Sutton.
Okay, I see. So anyways, Mr. Sutton was, actually, correction, little update on that. So this was when I was in 8th grade, and Mr. Sutton was actually our history teacher in 7th grade.
Okay.
So we had asked him, hey, do you need a service worker for one of your periods? He's like, yeah. I'm like, so can me and Sydney do it? He's like, yeah, of course. Oh my goodness. I was so bad. Oh my goodness. I was so bad. So pretty much all we had to do was organize his papers, each student's work, take attendance.
Typical TA
Yeah,
stuff.
Nothing really chill, easy A. So I always like to mess with him. So all the computers in his class, one day what I did, I changed all the screensavers to emo kids. So there was like this website, I don't know, back in the day called Vampire Freaks. So I just went on it and I just got a picture of an emo kid and I changed all the screensavers. Oh my God, he was not happy.
What a traviesa.
And me and Sydney were just cracking up. So he's like, Tania, you're staying after class again. And it was my last period too. So even easier for me to stay after class. And they don't really do that in middle school, but he just, he liked it to like get back at me. And so and then he would make Sydney stay too. She's like, I didn't even do anything. He's like, well, you're her accomplice. That's why you got to stay too. Wow. So he used to make us stay for about 15, 20 minutes. And it was just hilarious. And all the kids in the class loved us because we like to mess with him, like make him mad. So when it came to grading, of course, we would get an A in the class. But you know how in high school and middle school, the grading is based on your behavior, whatever. It's either U for unsatisfactory, S for satisfactory, and E for excellence. So he always used to give me an A, S, S, and ass. So he's like, yo, right? And he liked doing it. And I'm like, hey, why am I not getting an A, E, E? He's like, cuz you're an ass. He's like, so I would have had like A, S, S. And I think towards like the final semester, he finally changed it to the AEE.
After you stopped changing his screensavers to vampire emo kids.
Yeah, vampire emo kids. Because back in my day,
back in my day,
like the emo screamo thing was really like hitting out there. Like it wasn't. They were popular. Like there was the genre of screamo emo came out. Like My Chemical Romance and like all these other bands. But yeah, that was me. I was just always talkative. Had a lot of friends. In high school as well, same thing. I always just get in trouble, prank the teachers. And yeah, even since I was little in elementary school, when it came down to parents' conference night, like they'll tell my mom, you know what, she's great. Tania's amazing. She has great vocabulary for her age. She's very talkative. That's our only complaint. And then I'd be like, oh, I know, I just can't get her to shut up at home either. So
that was one of my problems. I didn't have good grades until I went to film school. And in film school, because I wanted my AA, my associates, I needed to take all the general classes. So I went from being a C- student all of my life to a straight A 4.0 student in school.
No, pues wow.
Oh, no, pues wow. But that was it. Like that was the only time I was ever a good student. Your story about middle school reminded me of two things. In 9th grade, I had this history teacher. He was like the middle level teacher. His name was Mr. Duffield. May he rest in peace. I heard that he did pass away a couple years ago.
R.I.P.
He's the best teacher I ever had. Now, any student that had him before was constantly saying he was extremely strict. His classes were really hard. He keeps you after class. And I just happened to get him 6th period, 9th grade. And we stayed after a few times. What he would do is if we were all talking, he would put up his hand and he would silently count down to 1 on his fingers. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't shut up by the time he hit 1, then we would all stay after like 15 minutes. And we'd stay after like on Fridays sometimes. And you just want to get home, you just want to go home. You want to walk home with your friends. Back then you want to play video games after school. You want to go to the basketball courts. You want to ride bikes. And I just remember that countdown. But yes, he was strict, but he also gave me an A, and I worked my butt off to get an A in this class.
Your nalguitas
My
off.
nalguitas. And I did. I got an A, and he moved me back up to advanced history. I always fluctuated between middle and advanced. When I would go to the middle classes, I would get A's. But then when I would get to the advanced, or I guess they call them all AP classes now,
Yes.
I would get like a C, and then they would move me back down to middle. Like that was my whole junior high existence. Middle, advanced, middle, advanced. The second story that I wanted to tell you was something that I have totally forgotten. So let's just move on to the next topic. I just spit. Watch out for my spit.
Oh no, spitballs.
Oh, spitballs. Man, my dad and I used to... Okay, so in the Glendale Galleria, there used to be a department store called Mervin's.
Yes, I used to go to Mervin's. Yes.
Right. We used to throw spitballs at the Mervin's sign.
Oh my
in
God.
The Galleria. I don't think my mom ever did. Mom, if you're hearing this, I'm sorry for the misbehavior.
Disculpa.
But yeah, Pop and I would shoot
Tell her.
spitballs
Oh
at
my
the Mervin's
goodness.
sign. Good times.
Yeah, so I overall, I did have a pretty good childhood. Like I said, I can't really complain because I always had what I needed, and I think that's most important. And to this day, I know that I have everything I need. You always want more, but some days, man, when I just had a rough day at work, I'm like, man, I'm content. Or, you see someone like homeless person on the street, be like, damn, well, at least I have a home. And the thing that you and I have exactly, it's humbling. And the thing that you and I have in common, I think why we get along so well, aside from our sense of humor, is because we both come from immigrant parents.
Yeah.
And I think being a child of immigrant parents, it just teaches you a lot of work ethic, to work hard, the reason why your parents came here to provide you with a better lifestyle. So when I went to Mexico, almost 2 years ago, just seeing the type of life that some of my family members live, it's just eye-opening. You don't have to go through the things they go through. One of my aunts, she actually doesn't have, I think, like her water. In order to flush the toilet, you have to throw it. You have to grab a bucket and fill it. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And her house is made out of cement and everything.
Yeah,
but
I've been there.
and it's like I had never seen anything like that in my
haven't
life.
seen it.
I hadn't seen it, yeah. But I realized it's not about sometimes what you have. It's about the love you're to provide for your children. And just better them the education that my parents never had. I'm fortunate enough to have it. And growing up, the only thing that was important to my mom for me to do is finish school,
Yeah.
get good grades, get into college, because I didn't want to disappoint her. And I think for a lot of like Latino children, it's important not to disappoint your parents.
Yeah, and I think that what I'm seeing now, a common trend with, and I'm going to say it, I see it happens a lot between or within Hispanic or Latino kids that are within your age group. I got 16 years on you, I think.
Yes.
But I notice that there's a lot of promotion of bad habits. And like I was watching this Instagram story, and there was something going on. I'm not going to say who it was. I'm not going to say...
yeah, don't be a snitch, o sea,
I
rata.
ain't no rat.
I ain't no rat.
But they were doing this, they were misbehaving in front of their mom. And all the other people in the family were making fun of that situation. Now, for people who aren't Hispanic or Latino or Mexican American like Tanya and I, behavior is a very big part of who we are as a culture. Yes, there are a lot of people who misbehave, but pride is something that's very big in our culture, and it is carried on throughout the generations. And if you misbehave, that is looked at it's frowned upon heavily. A lot of times in society nowadays, people say like, "Oh, YOLO," and they just kind of do whatever dumbass thing, and then they don't think twice about it. Like they just do it and they chalk it up to, I'm just living. Man, I keep spitting all over the place. I'm just living, and then that's it. But if you do it in Hispanic culture, it's bad. Like it's really bad. Just like the word "stupid" in Spanish is really bad. In English, it's like, oh, whatever, that's stupid.
Oh yeah, I was having this conversation with my sister the other day, just how translations between English and Spanish are different, and some of our words in Spanish have a heavier connotation, more like a negative connotation. And I think I was explaining this one day to a couple of our coworkers at the table who are not Spanish speakers. For example, stupid in English can be used like really playfully. You're so stupid. You won't take offense into it. However, in Spanish, you say eres un estúpido. It has very negative connotation, very demeaning. It's not nice. It's just very charged with a lot of rude. It's pretty much rude. So
it's almost like you're insulting the person all the
their
way down
character.
to like their character
Yes.
and their family. Like you call somebody a stupid, it's like, whoa, what? It's almost it's a really bad insult in Spanish.
Yes. So for you, those of you who do not speak Spanish, do not say it to someone,
seriously.
whether they speak Spanish or not. It's not nice.
Yeah. When I was a kid, there was this cartoon called He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, no, the one that has that mean that goes, hey, yay, that one.
Oh yeah, okay, so that's where that comes
remember,
from. Yeah.
Remember Elijah's meme of the He-Man?
He-Man. Yeah, so He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. There was a character on the show named Ram Man, and he had this metal plating on his shoulders and his head, and his thing was that
The skeleton?
No, that was Skeletor.
Oh my god.
His name was Skeletor, so he was a skeleton. Ram Man had plating on his head and his shoulders, and he could ram through a wall or a door that was preventing our heroes
That
from...
explains the name.
Exactly. So, because he got so many hits to the head, his intelligence wasn't what it could have been. So, when I was a kid, He-Man came out when I was 5 and 6. And because he was a little not there because of his constant head smashing, I would call him stupid. But not really understanding the word. I was just saying he was stupid. My dad would crack up, but my mom would get really offended and would always tell me to not call him that, to the point where I couldn't call it. Like I was not allowed to use that word because my mom, being from Mexico, didn't like that word. My dad's from Mexico. He would think it was funny that I was saying this very kind of vulgar or very demeaning insult toward this cartoon character.
So even though it was just a cartoon, she didn't like you saying that?
Yeah, she didn't like me saying stupid because of the heavy connotation that word carries in Mexico.
Yeah, and I think language is important, and language barriers that does sometimes cause a lot of misunderstandings. And I get it, for those people who don't know, it's better for you not to say,
Yeah.
Sometimes you do end up getting yourself in trouble, and it's sometimes not necessary to say something. Or when people try to speak Spanish, and I'm like, haha, don't try, because I don't know. It's like, are you trying to make fun of me, or
Yeah. When they add O's to English words, I hate that.
Yeah,
so
I think that's my pet peeve, when someone who doesn't speak Spanish tries to make it all cute by adding like un momento, or just the way they say it. It's like it's not necessary, like certain words that we're not allowed to say, like the N-word.
Yeah.
I hear a couple of people say it, and it's like, don't say it, because you could get yourself in trouble. And
that's a word for me. The N-word. Even in rap songs, I don't say it. I'll replace it with brother, because that's what the radio-friendly 90s songs used to replace it with. Or they would just block it out in general. And that word now is so freely used. I'll see it on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and it'll be said by people who aren't African American or black, and it's like, uh, hey,
Yeah.
you person of other ethnicity shouldn't be saying that word, because that word carried so many hurtful. That word is such a hurtful word to people of a specific culture. They can say it. They own the word. Fine, like that they earned the right to use that word, but nobody else should use it. So that's a public service announcement for all you listeners. If you're using the N-word, stop it. Stop being that person.
It does not belong to you.
Yeah, you
And
asshole.
I think sometimes I'll say it, like talking to like my sibling, or I'll say it, But I know if I'm not gonna say it in the front of an African American person, because that's disrespectful. They could take offense to it, even if I'm making it seem like, saying like, like, instead of like, you my homie, like it's not okay. So
I have this friend, Jay. Jay is half black and half white, and we're friends, and he wanted to call me that, and I said, no, like, don't call me that. He says, but you're my friend. I said, but I don't, like, I feel weird being called that. So he ended up, we talked about it, and he said, well, can I call you like Nick, as short for like Nicholas, And I said, okay, but it still feels kind of weird. Like, I have friends who are African American / black, and I would never call them that. And when he was calling me that, I would feel so, like, not offended, just like, don't call me that. That's not an appropriate word for me. Like, you can call it to, I don't know, like, I'm not, who am I to say who he can and can use
exactly,
that word on,
but
right?
at least you know that you're not gonna say it to him back, because just because he's your friend, and if he's black, it doesn't give you permission to start using it openly.
Yeah, and he knows how uncomfortable that word makes me, so he would come up and he would just say it to me. He would be like, oh, hey, what's up, blank? And I'd be like, don't say that. Don't call me the other word, and we'll be fine, but don't say that other word.
Yeah, because our coworker actually calls me that sometimes, and it cracks me up, because like, that's why I know, damn, I'm really your homegirl. Yeah. But I don't say it back to her.
Shout out to Ashley. Ashley.
I don't say it back, because that'd be totally inappropriate,
It'd be weird.
Yeah, so it just goes back to,
if somebody called me that, like today, like, oh, hey, what's up, Jose? You're my this. I'd be like, oh, okay. You're my friend.
At a champ. Something that people around your age say.
Yeah, wait, what?
I'm kidding.
So, you went to a concert recently.
Yes, sir.
Who'd you go see?
I went to go see Lorde.
And how was Lorde?
It was very fun, and I got to hang out with my sisters. We always like doing things together, create that bond.
Very Mexican thing of you to do.
Yes, very Mexican thing. And I'm actually one of those few Mexicans who don't have a big family. I do, but in Mexico...
Wait, you have like 5 sisters, 5 brothers and sisters,
I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers,
okay. So there are 5 total in your family.
Yes, including myself.
That's a big family.
No, but what I'm saying is, generally... people have like
more.
A bunch of cousins.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to my cousin's house. I'm going to my tia's house, and it's just like I only have like 2 aunts. One here that lives in Hollywood as well, and one that lives up in Sacramento. But other than that,
shout out to the Sacramento Kings.
Boo.
Yeah.
But most of like my family is in Mexico, so that's why I feel like I have a small family, because when it comes down to the holidays, it's just me and my sisters and my mom and my brother and my aunt. And you know what? Like, you hear people like, oh, we're going to cook tamales for Christmas, like a big olla. And I was like, oh, we're just going to cook for ourselves. And when we have guests, it's like 10 people in total.
Yeah.
But it's not like, hey, like, oh, like, I see people posting on like their Snapchat, the Mexican parties outside and in the yard with the plastic tables. Exactly, with the plastic tables and the cooler.
The plastic tables and the plastic chairs.
And the cooler with the Coronas and the tequila, and then the music playing in the background, and then the tío getting drunk. That's what I always wanted. That kind of like That's
Si
kind of a
saben por qué me
stereotype.
pongo, cómo me pongo, por qué me
Invitan.
invitan.
Si ya saben cómo me pongo, por qué no me invitan, por qué me invitan. But I wanted kind of like that stereotype, like Mexican big family, just to go to the parties and eat and everything.
That's my tío Rafael and my tía Licha. They were neighbors out in Maywood, and they used to have these really big parties. And my tío Rafael made incredible carne asada, and there was carne asada, the beans, the rice, the tecate, the music, and that doesn't happen anymore, or we don't get invited anymore.
One of those.
But those were always great times, man. Just shooting the shit with the cousins and seeing the tios and everything.
Yeah, so I always wanted that. So when I see people like, oh, my family, we went to quinceañera, like, didn't you just go to one last week? No, it's my other cousin's friends, or like my cousin's girlfriend. Like, I don't have that. So that's why I do want to have like I want my siblings to have kids, and so
you want kids too,
exactly,
right?
yes.
Okay.
So I can have those type of family gatherings. Like, they're nice.
Yeah.
And as I was telling you this yesterday, Mexicans, we love doing things together, things in whole. However, one thing I don't like doing to this day is like grocery shopping. I don't know, like it's just like the grocery store.
Not even for yourself, just going to the market and picking out food, your lunch for the week or whatever.
My mom usually just does all of that. So whatever she cooks, I eat. And I mean, if there's nothing to eat, pues, come tortas aire, like my mom tells me. Too bad. And that's a Mexican thing. Like, vas a comer lo que hay en la casa. Whatever is at home, you're gonna eat it. Like, we don't like spoil. Like, oh, you don't want the beans and rice? Too bad. Like, that's all we have to eat today.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's important because it just teaches you, hey, you know what? Be grateful for what you have. And some people don't have anything to eat. Because my little brother, he's 12, about to be 13. He's such a picky eater. You know what I think what it is? Because my mom babies him a lot. And it's like, when we were younger, no, it's like whatever's at home, you're going to eat. It doesn't matter. But for him, she'll set aside. He doesn't really eat salsa, so whatever she cooks, she'll make sure it's not in salsa, just for him, a little plate on the side. But it's like, for us, you don't eat it, I'm going to hit you or something.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll admit that I am a picky eater too. And that's something that I've had since
you eat everything, though.
I eat everything at work because it's part of my lunch. And if I don't, then I'm going to be hungry. And I don't like being hungry. But at the same time, I am a picky eater, a notoriously picky eater, and I've definitely had arguments over food. I'm trying to be better about it, though. Every day is a chance to be to behave better than you did the day before.
You know what? That is true.
So yeah, I'm working on it. Even though I'm officially 40 now, I still got work. I still got work to do on me. Not plastic surgery because I'm already perfect physically.
I know, me neither.
But yeah. So behavior-wise, working on it. We're working on my food habits.
I don't see you really as a picky eater because, again, like you never buy lunch when you're at work. You just eat whatever you bring.
Well, I do my best to not spend money on things I don't need.
Exactly.
So if I have food at home, even if it's leftovers, even if they're a week old, then I'll bring it.
How does that work out for you, Jose?
Most of the time, it's actually not bad. Sometimes it doesn't work out, and the food will make me sick. But for the most part, it's fine. I try not to. I don't think I'm cheap. I just try not to spend money on things I don't need. Like, there are so many cool-looking T-shirts out there. I don't buy them. I mean, I like looking at them.
True.
But I have plenty of T-shirts. I have more T-shirts than I actually need to get me through a 2-week span because I do my laundry every 2 weeks. So I have T-shirts that are kind of raggedy. I have T-shirts that are nice, maybe more on the pricier side. But Do I need more t-shirts? No. Do I need to go out and buy lunch every day? No. I have food.
You need t-shirts for t-shirt day at work.
Oh God. Well, no, it occurs on a day that's my day off. So
That's just foul.
I don't need it. It's okay. It's all right.
But yeah, I just, like I said, I don't see you as a picky eater because you just eat whatever you bring. I'm not a picky eater. I like eating nice things, you know.
Yeah. Yes, you do. You like the 7-course meal every day.
Oh my God! Imagine, I'd be so happy to have that 7-course meal. But now I pretty much eat anything. It doesn't matter. But just growing up, it's always like, suck it up. You're gonna eat whatever we have here.
Yeah, and we had those moments as a family. I mean, there was one time where for 6 months all we ate was rice and beans, and if we could afford it, then we bought a steak. But that was rare. This was you know.
You cooked it rare?
No, I like rare meat, but this was a financially rough time for my family and I, and that's all we could afford were beans and rice and the occasional steak. It's very humbling. But that was that,
Yeah, and luckily I've never had to experience starvation. And if I've gone to bed hungry, it's probably by choice. But when you were telling me just about your mom's upbringing, the time period when you couldn't afford to buy me, you know what? It's just like, wow, like I'm fortunate enough to have never gone through that. One thing I always look forward to every day when I would get home after school is my mom would always have the food ready, especially in elementary school.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it was the best, like what we're going to have today, enchiladas y albóndigas en salsa verde, anything. I was always because food is nasty usually in schools, but sometimes there are kids who are homeless. That'd be their only meal throughout the day, whatever they would eat at school.
Yeah.
Because I actually remember there was a girl in my classroom in 3rd grade. She was actually homeless. I was told that she was. She would wear the same clothes sometimes, and she wouldn't smell that great, her hygiene, because she's doesn't have
a real place to shower.
Exactly, shower, groom herself. So
that was in elementary school.
Yeah. So and it sucked that the teachers knew about it. I don't know what happened to her. Hopefully she's fine. I remember her. She was a very pretty girl. I remember she had like really nice black hair, big blue eyes. But a lot of people knew that this girl and her family were off on the street. So it just made me think like recently, like, that's probably her only meal of the day. They're like what they give her nutrition and lunch. And, hopefully whatever they'll be able to find.
Yeah. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so I that was one of my favorite times of the day. After school, I used to watch cartoons and every day, unless I would just not have time to watch it. And I would do my homework. I loved doing my homework, actually, as a kid.
Really?
Yes.
What a nerd.
I was a nerd. I liked putting extra detail, especially.
Gross. Get out of the car.
You're girls, you're just jealous. You don't have my brains.
No, I'm not jealous. I hated homework. And I hated school. Even when I got to go to film school, when I got to study what I wanted to study, I still hated school. Like, oh, God, it's Halloween night. Why am I at school? I should be out with my friends.
You sound like those millennials, like you make fun of us.
Oh, my gosh. Like, why am I at school?
Why do I have to go to work on time?
Oh, God. I can't believe they expect us to get to work on time every day.
Oh, my God. No, I was always a diligent young child. I used to do my homework. Like I said, that's what my mom expected of me. She would always ask, ¿Y la tarea? They didn't give any. So, it's like, what do you mean they didn't give me homework? Like, that's not possible. And now when I see that kids don't have homework, I was like, what do they do all day?
What do you mean kids don't have homework?
My brother tells me he doesn't have homework.
When my daughter was in elementary school, we were doing homework like minimum 2 hours.
Yes. Oh, my goodness,
it was crazy.
Yes.
Way more homework than I ever got. For me, when I got home, same thing. Like dinner was ready. 3:30, I was eating dinner. I would come into the house and I would smell the food and I'd be ready to eat. I would turn on ESPN to watch SportsCenter, or if there was a basketball game on, I'd watch a basketball game. And then once I was done eating, then I do my homework with the TV on, because when I did my homework with the TV off, I would take longer. Like I would get so distracted. I would get even more distracted and overthink the things on the homework.
That sounds like you.
Yeah, it sounds like me today.
Yeah, and sometimes I see you like putting like your hand to your head, at work.
Oh, that is something I do.
Yeah, like you'll be like, and then I'll be like,
What?
Jose. You're like, one moment. Just me. I just randomly like call you out.
You're very observant.
No, yeah, because it's funny because especially, or you'll like hunch over, when you are trying to explain something to a customer who's just being difficult.
Yeah.
And I'll pretend I'm talking to them. Like I'll move my hands, like while I'm looking at the screen. But I don't like sports, so I wasn't one of those. You know what I hated when they used to pass the World Series on
Why
Fox.
do you hate the World Series?
I used to, but now I'm a self-proclaimed Dodgers fan.
Well, you were actually on the team.
Oh yes, I was on the team. I was Justin Turner.
That's right. You were.
Or as Peter says, shout out to Peter.
Peter Lee.
Clutch Cabrera.
Future guest of A Little Drive, Peter Lee. Oh, look, the Joker. Joker's so sad.
I saw him in the morning, I believe.
Did you see Edward Scissorhands?
Yes, I did, unfortunately.
So
Aren't
dueling
they?
Johnny Depp's.
I just do not like Johnny Depp.
Really?
Yes, he scares me.
Well, why does he scare you?
Just his movie roles. Like, they're, like, super, like, outplayed. And speaking of Willy Wonka, I just like the original one, not this one.
The Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yes.
For me, I think Johnny Depp is more like my generation's guy because he was that teen heartthrob. He was in the news because he was a bad boy. We'd watch him on 21 Jump Street. He was in A Nightmare on Elm Street. He did all these smaller movies when I was young, and Edward Scissorhands kind of became. It was his attempt to break out of that whole teen heartthrob mentality. Yeah, because he was seen as that teen heartthrob, and he hated it. He absolutely hated it, and he wanted something else, and he tried hard to get that Edward Scissorhands role. I wanted to bring up one thing about costume characters, the ones that we were seeing, because we are in Hollywood.
And you'll see them all over the place.
So
bootlegged Dora, bootlegged Minnie Mouse, like the dirty costume.
Yeah. So Dora in particular, many years ago, so this is maybe 2000, 2001. I bring my parents and my aunt. My Tia Mago, shout out to Tia Mago. And I'm driving around Hollywood looking for a parking spot. Okay, now this is, you must have been like 6 or 7 years old. So this is before the Hollywood and Highland. This is
my God, yeah.
A lot of the things that are currently out here.
And I know because I've lived here all my life, and I think Hollywood, it was just like an empty structure. There was nothing there. So I was built around when I was, let's say, 8 years old. So yeah, there was
actually
nothing.
I think the Hollywood and Highland was just built right around.
Yeah.
So it's a rainy day, right? It's a gloomy day. I'm driving around looking for parking, and walking down the street, I see Elmo and Dora, right? And Elmo...
Were they doing drugs?
No, they weren't doing drugs or fornicating. Because it's Hollywood. They were just talking, right? And Elmo was moving his hands like he was, trying to come up with a point.
Elmo loves
or providing
you.
reason. And Dora was nodding her head. And they have fixed facial features, right? So Elmo has his mouth wide open and he's moving his hands like he's talking, and Dora has her mouth open and she's nodding her head like she's listening to what he's saying. And I remember thinking that it was a really funny visual, especially because Elmo could be telling Dora the deepest, most profound thing that society could ever hear. But he's Elmo and she's Dora. And that's something that's something that stuck with me, obviously, so many years after.
I could just imagine it because Man, like I can't take these guys seriously. Like especially one of them I always see is Superman. Like
Yeah.
the guy dressed up as
Yeah,
Superman.
he's pretty famous actually around here.
Yeah, and like you'll see him at like McDonald's, like trying to get like fries or whatever he's ordering. I don't
Dressed
know.
as Superman.
Yes, and it's hilarious to me.
It's like Superman don't eat McDonald's.
Yeah, like but my favorites are the Disney characters, but they have like those, like those bootlegged knockoff like costumes. Like
Yeah.
it just looks like a freaking mouse instead of Minnie Mouse. Like
it's mini rat.
like Minnie on drugs.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of those, like you see those memes, and you see how how Mexicans have piñatas for their
Yeah.
kids' parties,
Yeah.
and it says when you wanted Mickey Mouse piñata, but you live in Mexico, so this is what you got. It's just like super bad, like the ears are all off, the teeth, oh my god, everything.
I've shown you the Choladora picture, right?
I don't think you have.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to send that to you later, but many years ago, I'm driving in Highland Park to visit a friend, and there's a piñata store on the corner of York and I think it was Avenue 50. And on the side, there's cartoon characters, right? Because they want kids to go into that store and pick out a piñata of their favorite character. But there's Dora, and I don't know who okayed this version of Dora, but she looked like a chola. She had on the purple shirt, she had on the shorts and the sneakers, but on her shirt it said Explore, which Dora does not have a shirt that actually says Explore. She's got on eyeshadow. She's got on the high Sharpie chola eyebrows. And I said, why is that okay? Who okayed that Dora? That's not how she looks. That's not what kids are gonna recognize it, but that's still like this weird appropriation of Dora.
Chodora.
Choladora.
Yeah, Choladora. Maybe I should change that to my Instagram username.
Oh no, you change it so many times. You had your Young Buck Savage.
Alligator pasta.
Alligator pasta. Now you're Ojo Alegre 93.
Yes, sir. Wandering Eye.
Choladora. You should really, you know what, maybe you will change it after you see the picture. You'll definitely laugh because it was pretty damn funny.
Maybe I'll change it for a day or two. I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
I like changing my usernames here and there. And then what I like to do to like clown on people is I like liking everyone's pictures, even my ghost followers who don't like my pictures. Just to be like, who is this?
That's my friend Fatima. Shout out to future guest Fatima. She would do that too. And I'd look at the like, I'd say, who the heck is Freddie Fresh or whatever? Who is that? And then eventually I called her out on it. Like, stop changing your damn screen name. I don't know who it is when they're liking my pictures.
Yeah, or my friends would be like, stop changing your username. I was trying to tag you in something, but I couldn't find you.
You're doing it intentionally. I think she was just doing it because she just wanted to change the name. But you were specifically changing it to mess with your friends, you jerk face.
Yeah, but they like it. And then, they like the little backstory to the way I changed my username.
Did they say anything about alligator pasta?
One of my friends was like, who's this person? Who's this alligator pasta? She thought it was a guy. I explained to them that the reason why it was alligator pasta is because my coworker, Jose, which is you.
Shout out to me.
What were you eating? A soup? With broccoli?
I can't remember what we talked about yesterday. I don't remember what I was eating that day.
I don't know, but it was, I don't know why I remember something like that. Looks like alligator pasta. And they just started cracking up. It's so random, like the fact that I think that these broccoli-looking thingies are alligators. I've never ate alligator, but I'm down to eat an alligator.
Alligator's good.
Don't judge me if you're listening to this, but I will eat an alligator.
Alligator, I've had it twice. Both times it's been tasty. I've had frog legs. I had that on a recent cruise with my girlfriend. They were...
Wow, show off.
They were okay. They just tasted like whatever.
Chicken?
No, they didn't taste like chicken. They had the consistency of chicken, but they tasted more like tofu with no flavor. Like an unmarinated tofu. That's what the frog's legs tasted like. I've had escargot.
I see, soy francés.
Yeah, I'm so fancy. I'm so extra.
You're so
like
French.
You kids say nowadays.
Yeah, stop being extra, Jose.
What other weird thing I have had? The escargot is probably the weirdest. I've had caviar. Caviar's good.
I think I've had it once out of a can.
Did you have? Oh yeah. Did you have it on the cracker though?
I think
You're supposed
so.
to eat it on a cracker.
I mean, I'd be down to have it again. I could just imagine it tasting good. I mean, I do like seafood.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I liked it.
And what's more interesting than eating some delicious fish eggs?
Right? I'm a Pisces, so I try not to eat seafood. That's like eating my brothers, but
Eating yourself?
yeah, seriously, I don't want to eat myself.
Wow.
Probably pretty salty.
You are salty.
There are a lot of people at this crosswalk.
Oh, yes, it is Hollywood. And it's
Hollywood.
like Hollywood. There's always people in Hollywood. And you know, it's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. So everyone's getting ready to get lit.
I'm so, like my internal calendar is so off that I can't, I don't know what days.
You're still in cruise mode?
I'm still in cruise mode, yeah, but I'm better. I'm better than I was when I came back. When I came back, I just wanted to go back on the boat. I'd still love to go on another cruise. You should go on a cruise.
I should go, and you know, thank you for the recommendation.
Sure.
Of the Carnaval. Or is
Yeah,
it called
that's right,
Carnival?
Carnival. Shout out to Carnival Cruises for treating me like a king for a week. I love that. I don't get
And
treated
they
like
are
that
not
very
one of
much.
your sponsors.
Yes, not sponsor Carnival Cruise Lines. Just want to mention that. Thank you very much. Well, Tanya, it was really fantastic having you on. We had some good laughs, and you got to tell a bit about your personal story. I do appreciate you coming on. Sorry, my mic didn't work for all you listeners, but you got to hear Tanya loud and clear.
AKA Young Buck.
Young Buck.
Savage.
Young Buck Savage. Tania Cabrera. Clutch Cabrera. Tania Cabrona.
I was about to say that. I hated that. Kids used to call me Tania Cabrona.
What was another one? There was Clutch Cabrera. What was another one? Oh, Crumbs.
Crumbs.
We got Crumbs.
Oh my goodness.
The reason why I started calling you Crumbs was because there were always crumbs around your desk.
Chips.
Chips, chip crumbs.
I love chips.
Pringles.
Hot Cheetos.
Hot Cheetos.
Typical Mexican girl.
Oh, you know what I heard? That at movie theaters, I don't know if you told me this, but at movie theaters now they're doing the hot Cheetos with the cheese.
I told you that.
Did you tell me that?
Yes,
Okay.
and it's expensive. It's about $5.
Oh yeah, and you said that it was kind of a slap in the face because you're still seeing the price of $1.69.
Man, that was bad.
Hot Cheetos with cheese. That's a very Hispanic treat of you to be consuming.
I love hot Cheetos with cheese.
Yeah. Well, once again, Tanya, thanks for coming on the show. I hope you get some hot Cheetos with cheese today.
I hope so. I had some on Wednesday, but my cheese was actually expired in my house. I have a can of cheese and it had mold on it, so I had to throw it away. I was very sad, but it's okay. Thank you so much, Jose, for having me. I had a lot of fun. I got a free ride home.
Yeah, free ride home.
Uber. We are not sponsored by Uber. Well,
Not sponsored
Jose
by
show.
Uber. This is the Jose show, not Uber.
Or like my dad says, Uber.
Uber. Me bear? You bear. A Little Drive is hosted by me, Jose Swaswa, and is produced by Mark Mariah, who also provides our music. Find him on Twitter at MarkLarArtMcKay. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram at Jose Swaswa, and also check out my website, quicklunchbreakreviews.com. Thank you for coming on A Little Drive with us today. We'll pick you up for the next one.